Let's talk about maps. In a day where GPS, MapQuest, Google Earth, and so many smartphones are carrying different apps and just about anything you can imagine electronically, we really need to consider having what I call a hard copy. Electronics and high technology is vulnerable, especially in a real crisis situation. Power lines can get knocked down, satellites can be knocked out, especially with a lot of the solar activity that we've had. And this doesn't even include major events such as, hurricanes or tornadoes and all the other different things. It doesn't also include an accident up on the freeway and having a way to get around it easily and quickly. Of course, if you do have a GPS, you can get around that. But let's say you don't have a GPS. Having a map is an inexpensive way to have some good insurance while you're traveling, and especially in more of a bug-out situation or a situation of national disasters. I was in Walmart the other day looking for maps, and they've stopped carrying maps. And so at first I was like, are you kidding me? Why are you not carrying maps? And of course a lot of that has to do with the new technology. You can still get maps easily, and they're very available at many of your gas stations or convenience stores along the freeway. And so that's a great way to find maps. One of the things that I wanted to actually do specifically, because I bought this weekend at the Sensible Mountain Prepper Conference up in Black Mountain, and this was from Carolina Readiness Supply, which you ought to check it out. It's a great source, a lot of different readiness type stuff. They have a storefront, plus they do a heck of a lot of business online. So I'll leave the link to that below. But Jan and Bill are excellent and really preparing a lot of people in the western North Carolina area, and then of course online around the world. And map out the route you're taking, where you're going. If you get yourself in a tough situation, it could even be a rock slide. It could be a lot of different things. You can figure out how to get around very easily. And that's one of the things about having a GPS. A lot of times when I connect my GPS, turn it on, and I want to look for another route, or maybe it's telling me one way, and I think, you know what, there may be a better way. That have GPS, understand that the GPS can take you the long way. And so it's good to have other options. It's easier, not that you can't figure it out on your GPS, but sometimes you can whip up a map and look and go, you know what, it's just right over here. So that's just another reason, even, to coincide with your electronics, is to have a good hard copy to be able to see it. Now, especially because we are preppers, and anybody watching this channel and you want to be prepared, let's just take a natural disaster, for instance. If you need to leave the area, if you need to get out, if you need to go somewhere else, you can look at a map and see the best way out. Just recently we had a train wreck that a lot of chemicals were spilled about an hour away from where I live, and they had to evacuate 1,500 residents. And then some of those, they were estimating it might be 2 weeks before they got back into the area. So, there are a lot of times where situations happen, you just never know. And having a good map is just critical. These maps come in a lot of different states, comes in all the different states. And of course, I live in South Carolina. I'm going to probably pick up one from North Carolina and Georgia. It is a large map. It's not necessarily something that you're going to pack away in a bug-out bag, but you sure can keep it in your vehicle, keep it at home, and to be able to go through it. Now, because of that, I keep this in my bug-out bag, and it's a map of the United States. It's a very general map. I do have some smaller maps that are in my car, but I keep this locked away with a compass. This is in one of those lock sacks, and this is incredible to keep it waterproof, which leads me to one of my next subjects, is because maps are paper and they're vulnerable to the elements. There are a lot of ways that you can buy either waterproof maps, or you can do like I do, and I just take some lamination and take my maps and laminate them. And this is actually our group that we have, and each of us are going to have these maps where we can track each other if we need to, how to get to each other's homes. It is laminated, so it's waterproof, and that's a great way to do it. You can actually download a lot of different various maps. I use MapPoint. You can go to even Google Earth and a lot of different other sources. Download your maps off your print and print them out, and then laminate them, which is a great way. That way you can customize your map to however you want to. And here I have each one numbered, so we know where everyone is and how to get to them. I don't want to show that too much because it is our prepper group, but it is a great way to be able to stay connected in a dire situation. And one of the things too, whenever you're headed for a specific bug out location, and let's say there's a roadblock, there's some kind of problem, you know, whatever the problem could be, maybe it's a major town that you're going through and you want to avoid that town, you can figure out another way to get around it. Let's say you're on foot, and this is specifically important, a great topographical map that shows the terrain, shows water sources, major freeways, cities if you need help, cities if you need to avoid it. As you can see here, there's a lot of water in this area. And so I need to know how to get around some of these bodies of water, which way to go, left or right, east or west, north or south. So this is just critical to me. And then of course having a good compass and being able to navigate if you need to. Now of course having a good folding map, there are a lot of great maps out there that are dedicated, waterproof, great to pack away. A good book map like this atlas, a good dedicated book map, this topographical, shows a lot of the back roads, even shows GPS grids, and you know, recreation sites, campgrounds, places to explore, a lot of points of interest. So whether you're in a bug out situation or not, having a good hard copy, you can use it for a lot of different purposes, especially out on the road. Of course, one major thing is if you're on a road, a major road, and you know the way to get somewhere and you come up on an accident, especially early on before they're able to detour people into another area or another route, this will give you a way to get around those areas easily and quickly without just having to sit, not knowing what to do next. There are a lot of online sources for maps. Of course, like I said, you can get on MapQuest, Google Maps, whatever, and download those maps. Or a lot of the service stations when you're traveling, stopping by a gas station and picking up a map specific to your area, or you can even get larger maps to the US. Definitely if you're traveling overseas, I would highly recommend you getting some kind of map to be able to follow. I know smartphones are really a great way. There's so many different apps, but you may be in an area where it's not picking up a signal and you may be lost, and then not being able to pick up a signal, you can get yourself in a tough situation. So I highly recommend getting your maps together. This is not even really hardly anything that I have. I just really wanted to bring this one out, and this is my bug out. But I do have other maps. We keep maps in the car, and when we're traveling, making sure that we don't get lost, we know where we are. Just in case technology begins to fail, you can always count on these hard copies. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more sensible prepping. God bless America. Long live the Republic. It's like this, you go over here by the stump, and you go over by the old mulberry bush, and then you head on over down to the fishing hole, and you turn left, and go by